Good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. How you guys doing? I hope you're well. We are all fine and tickety-boo. The Questioning Sense household is getting quite amped up for the forthcoming festive season. There's lots of excitement in the air. My son is beside himself and literally bouncing off the walls. So he's only got a couple of days of school left. So I've done the school run this morning. Thought I'd make a rather interesting and quite unique video, a bit of a sneak preview for you guys before I go off to work. Now, obviously, I don't know if you've heard, but London is about to go into something called Tier 3. I don't know what that really, I mean, when I've read into it, all it seems is that, like being in lockdown, it's not really a lockdown. Everything's going to be open, gyms and all the rest of it. But all the good stuff's going to be closed. So pubs and things like that. And I don't know if it's going to have an effect on sort of Christmas plans and stuff like that with gatherings and things. I'm sure it will. So that's to look forward to. But anyway, enough talking of woes. I'm going to, as I mentioned, give you a bit of a sneak preview here. Now, I don't know if you guys are too aware of a UK company called Pocket Sense. Now, Pocket Sense have been around for a while. And I speak to Matt, the main man there, quite a bit. We chat a lot. I haven't really reviewed much of his stuff before, although I have obviously reviewed this, which is a wonderful fragrance. And this is Gravitas from Norton & Wilson. Obviously, Dan Norton being Mr. Smelly. Well, Matt is the other half of this. So this has come out to great applause and it's a cracking fragrance. So when I was speaking to Matt at Pocket Sense, he said that... you know, obviously, sorry, they're kind of well known for a lot of they're very, very sort of high quality inspirational perfumes, or, you know, inspired perfumes, should I say. So they kind of got a bit of a reputation for that sort of work, and they do it very, very well. But Matt was quite excited that they are, I think maybe since the success of Gravitas, there's a possibility the Pocket Sense may be going in a different direction. I think they will keep that sort of inspired side of the marketplace going and ticking over, but they are going to be releasing some brand new, totally original fragrances, which I was really happy to hear. You know, I've got nothing. You know, I've said it many, many times. I've got absolutely nothing against clones or inspirations. I have lots and lots of them. And they certainly serve a purpose within the market. Personally, I love it when people are releasing new stuff and more original stuff. It kind of excites me. So I think this one we're going to be talking about today is from what Matt calls the Ne Plus Ultra, or Ne Plus Ultra, which is a kind of like a, I think I would be correct in saying this is sort of like a more luxurious part to Pocket Sense repertoire, as it were. So there's going to be quite a few of these. You sent a few down for me to have a sniff of, but one in particular, and this one here, which I will show you, is called Oud Opulenza. Now, let's have a look at the bottle. Bottles are fantastic. The presentation on these is absolutely amazing. Now, the reason Matt sent me this one is basically he knows that I'm really, really interested in oud, and this is an oud fragrance. So I was really, really excited. So he sent it down just for me to have a sniff of and to chat a bit, have a chat with him about it, and obviously, you know, get some feedback on it. And then I said, do you mind if I review it? So Matt very sneakily, he said, no, crack on. And he described this as a fruity oud. The other thing I need to make you aware of, it's not actually released yet. It doesn't go out on the market until I think the 1st of Jan. And I think it will be a 50ml bottle will retail at around the £50 mark. I think that may be subject to some change. We shall see. But as I say, this is a new release that's not even on the market yet. I don't think many people have actually had a chance to smell this one yet. So it's quite a privileged position for me to be. So Matt said it's a fruity oud, and I thought, I love a fruity oud. Here's two that I've got that spring to mind. So, you know, a fruity oud, fabulous. There's not, I mean, there's a few on the market. There's not that many. Generally, when we look at oud fragrances, they're either got no oud in them at all, or they go down their oud rose combination, or they become quite heavy, dark, incensey. woody fragrances. So a fruity oud sounded really intriguing. So I said, Matt, can you tell us a bit more about it? And he went, no, work it out for yourself. So that, that was quite good fun as well. So it's always a bit of a challenge when, you've got no notes at all. You've just got your, the fragrance, and then, and the other thing is there's nothing online about it either. So, it really is down to my interpretation of what this one smells like. So you're going to have to trust me. And I really, really enjoy this one. I mean, it's good for me. It keeps my brain in gear. I'm used to reviewing, obviously, Gaultieri's fragrances. There's no notes released for any of the Oud Opulenza or any of the Nascimento. So again, that's all down to your interpretation of what you can smell. So what we'll do, I've worn it for the school run, as you would expect. I'm going to spray a little bit more now for the purposes of the review, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it and how I feel. And I will say before we start, if I didn't like it, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, spoiler alert, yeah, it's a cracking frag. But let me spray some now, and then we'll have a review, or a chat, shall I say. Look at the sprayer, it's amazing. And just a quick word, I've had it a little while now, and I've been burning through it. I cannot stop wearing this. So, should we get into it? Yeah. First and foremost, Matt has told me that this is a fruity oud, and it is a fruity oud, but it's a bit more than a fruity oud. There's a lot of citruses in here, and they kind of change it for me. So yeah, I suppose, citruses are fruit, but if you were to, if I was to say, what sort of fruit is it? Well, it's not blackberries, it's not, I don't know, it's not bananas, it's not mangoes and things like that. This is more a kind of a bergamotti style fragrance, maybe a little grapefruity, that's very, very fresh. And this freshness is what you're picking up on straight away, the sharp citric freshness, which is absolutely divine. Then the oud arrives just to stop it becoming an ultra freshie. And if it wasn't for the oud, you would describe this as a very fresh perfume. It has a very fresh feel to it, and a lovely, lovely opening. The oud, as I say, kind of brings it down. And a quick word on the oud, it does actually smell very, very much like a good oud, but it's a clean oud, so there's no skank, there's nothing fecal about it, there's no blue cheese, there's no medicinalness, there's no barnyard. It's perfect. And this is going to sets this perfume up perfectly well to be one that will appeal to those of you that like oud, and it will appeal to those of you that are a little bit unsure of oud, because there's nothing challenging about the oud in there. It just smells a little oudy, which is perfect. Behind this fresh fruit, this citrus vibe, there are some florals, and there's definitely some rose, and it's a watery rose, which is a term I've used before to describe other perfumes. And what I mean by that is the rose kind of floats. It's there as a rose, but it's not dominant, it's not traditional. It doesn't become a traditional rose oud, which I think a lot of perfumes do. This is a floaty rose that blends with some other florals. I'm not entirely sure which. I think there's possibly some jasmine there, and what that does is that gives, you have this fruity freshness that opens up with a lovely oud, and then some florals that just lift it up so it kind of floats off your skin. And at this stage in the perfume, the projection is excellent, the sillage is wonderful. My wife has picked up on it, and again, I have to say this, very rare for my wife to compliment me on an oud based fragrance, but even she will wear this, and she doesn't like oud at all. She just finds it an interesting fragrance. And at this stage, this is where it really differentiates itself from a lot of ouds, because there's no Middle Eastern, I mean, we've got rose in here and we've got oud in here, but there's no Middle Eastern vibe to it at all. It's wonderful, and I love this stage. The perfume itself has kind of like 3 defined stages, and the impressive opening with these lighter top notes is really, really good. Then something happens to it after about an hour or so. You get a kind of what I think it reminds me of papyrus, which I've picked up in this one. Now, papyrus is very rare. You don't get it very often in perfumery, so it leads me to believe it's not papyrus. It's probably something like a little hint of vetiver that just starts to turn the perfume. It starts to become a little bit woodier. Then it becomes quite dusty. So this freshness kind of changes into something a lot more grounded. So you've gone sort of all open, fresh, floral to something a lot more grounded. It's starting to come back down, but it's not disappearing by any means. The perfume lasts for hours and hours and hours. The performance is spectacular, but as it becomes more grounded, there's this dusty vibe that comes into it, which I really, really enjoy. And it starts to hint towards being a bit of a woody fragrance at that point. And I love it. This transition is perfect. It's seamless, but it's so well blended. Nothing's jarring. There's no shocks there. There's nothing really spiky, or you're not like, oh, what's that? You know, none of these weird shocks or surprises come with the perfume. This dustiness is, I think, a way of introducing the real star of the show, especially in the dry down, which is this beautiful patchouli that comes in. And what the patchouli does is it muddies the waters, it earths things up, and it doesn't make the perfume dirty, it just clouds things around a bit, and then it starts to become quite patchouli dominant, which I really enjoy. Now the patch here does a couple of things. It obviously makes things a little bit earthy. It also gives a certain grown-up sharpness to this, which I love. I love patchouli in perfumery, and I think patchouli often just gives something, no pun intended, a little bit more gravitas, and I love it. But what it also does is it brings a little bit of mint to the table. Now, not a fresh mint or a real mint or a mint that you rub in your hand and think, that's minty. It kind of goes past that and just gives a bit of a menthol-like background to this stage of the perfume, which is great. It suits it, and you know, it helps it when you're using quite an earthy patch. Perfumes can easily become quite a dirty smelling perfume, but I think this little hint of menthol that sits behind it and lifts it up keeps it quite clean. So you know, you've got these wonderful stages with this fresh citric opening with Oud, and then you have this dusty kind of Savannah-like vibe with Oud, and then you have this patch, this patchy kind of dry down with a little bit of menthol. All the time this perfume smells sophisticated. All the time this perfume smells like a very, very high quality perfume. If you are a fan of Mancera or Montal, but you know, and I am a big fan of them, but you don't like the synthetic vibe that they can sometimes give off, or that screechiness that they can sometimes give off, you're going to love this, because it has none of that. It does not smell synthetic at all. It doesn't screech, it doesn't shout, it's just perfect. And when I say it doesn't shout, you know, sort of some of the Manceras or Montals, they scream. This doesn't. This is really reassuring. You have good projection, you have a good sillage, but it's not, look at me, it's not overbearing, it's just amazing. In terms of where you can wear this, you could wear this anywhere. I've worn this to work, and you know, I don't work in an office, but if I did, I'll be more than happy to wear this to work. This will be fantastic for big nights out. This is just, you can pick it up to wear it down the pub. You can take it, you know, you can take your significant other half out for a meal wearing this. It will fit in anywhere. Completely unisex. Anyone will be able to wear this, and it's completely ageless as well. I think the more mature fragrance enthusiast may prefer it to the thrusters out there. I think a young thruster may find this a little bit complicated for them, a little bit complex, perhaps. Maybe I'm doing them a bit of a disservice, I don't know. But it's a real journey fragrance. There's, you know, three major stages within the perfume's performance, and they're all really, really interesting and intriguing. So it's a good wear. It's a fascinating one to wear. I think it's awesome. And if this is the quality that Matt's going to be knocking out now, he's going to go miles with this sort of perfume. I think it's really, really good, and I fully expect to hear a lot more about it when it comes out on general release on the 1st of Jan. So keep your eyes peeled for this one. I don't know if Matt's going to be selling sample sets or not. If he does, then it'd be well worth exploring. Not a safe blind buy because it's an Oud fragrance, and I never recommend anybody who has no experience of Oud blind buying it. If you like Oud and you know what to expect, then you can blind buy it. And it's, as I said, you know, I've said it before and I have to say it again, I love the fact that he's made an Oud-based fragrance that will be, you know, of interest to everyone that likes fragrance, whether they're a big Oud lover or not. There's something here for everyone, and it's wearable for the, you know, the diehard Oud fans, and it's, you know, wearable for those that are a little anxious or nervous about wearing Oud. So there you have it, my take on Oud Opulenza, a fantastic fragrance from Pocket Scents, and maybe the start of a new direction for the company. Who knows? Time will tell. But if they keep knocking out frags like this, they're going to do extremely well. So there you have it. I just want to say thank you to Matt for sending me the bottle down for me to have a look at. I've really enjoyed this, and I'm really going to keep enjoying it as well. I can see me wearing that an awful lot. So there you have it. A perfect all year round fragrance. Maybe one of the ouds that's going to do really, really well on a summer's evening, and it certainly works really, really well in the crisp cold. But, you know, just before I go, that freshness in the opening of this is going to make this a perfect summer frag for evenings. I think the heavy base or heavier base may make it not so appropriate for a really hot day, but a summer's evening it will be fantastic. Spring, anytime you like. Autumn, lovely, and winter, fantastic. So a good one, really nice one to have in your arsenal. So you know you're adding to your collection, and you're like me, you're adding to your collection things that bring value to your collection, and this one certainly does. So there you have it. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. We love making them, and we shall see you on the next video. I want to try and get a bit of a summary of the year video up before the festive season is completely upon us. And the year is over, because we've had a crazy year. It's been absolutely batshit, forgive my French. And I think a video where I talk about how fragrances have helped me throughout the year, and some of the best fragrances that I've picked up throughout the year would be in order. So hopefully I'll get that filmed over the next couple of days and out for you. But listen guys, as always, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. So cheers, thanks, and bye.